So Warner Brothers Discovery and Turner Broadcasting are suing the NBA, the National Basketball Association. What gives? This is a quote from their legal complaint saying, quote, given the NBA's unjustified rejection of our matching of a third-party offer, we have taken legal action to enforce our rights. We strongly believe this is not just our contractual right, but also in the best interest of fans who want to keep watching our industry-leading NBA content with the choice and flexibility we offer them through our widely distributed WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, video-first distribution platforms, including TNT and Max. The complaint goes on further saying, quote, TBS has a vested interest in maintaining these distribution rights in its carefully developed 40-year brand. Moreover, NBA telecast rights are a unique asset that cannot be replaced. Each NBA game is a one-of-a-kind live sporting event, end quote. So their complaint also notes that they've invested millions of dollars in adjacent programming like TNT's Inside the NBA, which features Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley pictured here. So what's the context of this? So I might be going off, maybe I should have reordered this story, right? You might have no idea what I'm talking about. So the context is that Warner Brothers Discovery, which owns Turner Broadcasting, which in turn, no pun intended, owns CNN, which owns TNT, TBS, things like that, right? TNT and TBS carry NBA games, right? Disney and Comcast also carry NBA games on like ABC and NBC. But it's a really important part of the Warner Brothers portfolio, right? And the New York Times notes that in the past couple of years, the relationship between Warner Brothers and the NBA has frayed, right? Going to the point where the CEO David Zaslav of Warner Brothers, who was brought in 2022, in this first year of him being the CEO, said, quote, we don't need the NBA, end quote. So not a great public statement when you have a really important strategic partner in terms of content, right? So they currently have an agreement, though, right? This current 2024-2025 agreement entails Warner Brothers paying the NBA about $1.2 billion a year for the rights package to show these games on TV, right? This rights package includes at least 64 regular games, Thursday night doubleheader games, Tuesday night games, at least 30 playoff games, and 1 conference finals, right? So there's a lot that's part of this, right? And that's how everything was until, right? So this was like a story. This would be the inciting incident. Until this month, Amazon made an offer to the NBA to gain these rights. Right? The total deal that the NBA would have with Amazon and Disney and Comcast combined would be worth about $77 billion over 11 years, right? And per the agreement that Warner Brothers already had, the NBA had to notify Warner Brothers of Amazon's offer, triggering a 5-day window for Warner Brothers to match the offer, right? So, it's like you have a chance to to keep this going. You have 5 days to pony up the money. Otherwise, we're going to go with Amazon. And according to Warner Brothers, they matched the offer. But then the NBA still rejected the proposal, right? Their argument was that the matching offer that Warner Brothers proposed didn't actually match Amazon's offer. And we have a quote here. But basically because Amazon was going to stream it on Prime Video, and the NBA, I guess, did the math, and they feel that more people would watch it on Prime Video because there's more Prime subscribers than would watch it on TNT or TBS or even Max if you were to stream it, right? But in this complaint, Warner Brothers directly references this kind of line of thinking and tries to debunk it, saying, quote, the NBA has asserted that because Amazon proposed to distribute NBA games on its Prime Video platform, TBS could not match by telecasting the games on TNT and Max, citing Section C4 of the MRE, which I think is just the agreement. But the NBA is wrong. TBS properly matched the Amazon offer by agreeing to telecast the games on both TNT and Max, end quote. So they feel like, look, we did exactly as the contract provided. You are legally obligated to maintain this business relationship. You can't go with Amazon, right? And this was a story that had been brewing for weeks, and I kind of was ignoring it just because I'm not a huge sports person, if you follow this show, right? But now that legal challenges are starting to be thrown around, that's when this started to really pique my interest, because of course the back and forth of the offers and the counter offers and the matching offers, of course that suggests an interest in live sports. But it's so important that they're willing to go to court over it, right? And that's really the main reason why I want to talk about this story, is that sports and live news, which we'll talk about actually in the next story, sports and live news, and maybe even just more sports, is really like the only thing keeping traditional linear broadcasting alive, right? With TV shows, people prefer being able to binge them or just have them on demand. If you want to watch Dexter, right, that's what my fiance Viviana, who's watching tonight, hi honey, if you're just watching this, you can watch it at any time on demand. You don't have to sit and wait until 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, right? But sports is by design a live event, right? There's very little value in watching a game that's already happened, even if you haven't watched it. Right, because especially if you know this, if you know what ended up happening, the one of the allures of sports, from what people tell me, is that uncertainty. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, right? So that perfectly aligns with the business model of traditional linear broadcasting, right? And it brings in a lot of viewers, right? Because of that. The Wrap notes that the 2023 to 24 season of the NBA games brought in about 1.6 million viewers per game, right? Per game. So not only is that more viewers, which means more eyeballs on ads in the breaks, and that's how television networks make money, but it also helps drive interest and viewership for the network's other offerings. So if you're watching a basketball game on TBS, it goes to commercial, you're obviously going to see commercials from third parties like Coca-Cola or something, and then TBS will make money off of that. But TBS will also show you commercials for their own content, and if you see it enough time, it might pique your interest, then you watch that, and now you're a loyal viewer of that show and watching those ads, right? So it's a huge part of the business model, right? And this is true even if sports heads to streaming. You still have the live audience element, right? So you could still basically broadcast it as if it was on regular TV. So even if it was on Amazon, which is a Prime Video, which is still on demand, when you go into the button to watch the game, it would still have ads, right? It would still be as if you're watching it on TV. It's just now easier. Everything's in one place for you, right? So, because it's still a captive audience watching something in real time, right? Again, you can't fast forward because there's really not a lot of value in taping a game, finding out what the score was, and then watching it, unless you're like really into the sport or into the team or something, right? And again, even ad-supported streaming, like regular streaming, how now there's like ad-supported tiers of Netflix and Disney Plus, and when you're watching stuff, there'll be breaks to watch ads. Even that can't guarantee massive viewership all at once, right? Because you might, what did we say, 1.6 million viewers per game. You might have 1.6 million people watch something on Disney Plus within a week or a month, but it's not all at once. So if you're a company and you want to do an ad campaign, this, again, something like a sporting event guarantees massive viewership all at once, right? And again, it's something that even as we switch to, streaming models, because of the nature of it being a live event, it's still going to have like that linear format like TV. And whoever can access the money fountain, that is televised sports, can help shore up the balance sheet during periods of industry instability, right? It's really valuable to have sports like a sports rights package as part of your media portfolio, so that if your movie studio isn't doing so hot, you still have a little bit of money still coming in from that very reliable source, right? And it's kind of in a lot of ways like Disney with its theme parks, right? That it's so diversified to the point of being a monopoly. The company's so diversified that if movies in general aren't doing well, even if Disney films are the most successful in a year, if the general box office is just down for everything, they have other things they can lean on. They can lean on television news. They can lean on sports. They can lean on the theme parks. So it's crucial for someone like Warner Brothers to maintain their ability to include this as part of their portfolio, because it just, for all of the reasons, you could sum up with one statement: it makes a shit ton of money.